Showers and thunderstorms continue across central and eastern Kentucky as we track the potential for overnight flooding. That's just ahead.
A Lexington neighborhood doesn't have as many trees tonight after a strong storm blew through. Hear from people cleaning up a mess.
It's a little bit overwhelming.
Storms also damaged a well-known central Kentucky distillery tonight. Some warehouses now need repairs.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. Rounds of storms have been causing problems in the bluegrass tonight, and a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day continues.
Take a look at this. Chris, one of our weather watchers, shot this time-lapse video of a storm moving into Lexington tonight. We'll show you the damage the storms cause in just a moment, but we begin our First Alert Weather Team coverage tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. How about it, Chris?
Yeah, those are photogenic storms causing some wind damage into parts of central and eastern Kentucky, and still late this evening, we are tracking, you guessed it, more in the way of rounds of showers and thunderstorms out there. Strongest storm on radar as of now is moving toward Hazard. It is back into parts of Leslie County and over toward Manchester into Clay County. Some strong thunderstorms here south of Moorhead over into the West Liberty area. Lexington Metro. We were hard hit by wind damage earlier this evening. Now we're getting in on a few more thunderstorms that are trying to pop as of now. Locally heavy rains will be the primary threat from those storms, and additional showers and storms lining up down the I-75 corridor, Richmond, Berea, where we had some big boomers earlier, and that extends a little farther to the south. And look back toward the west into Bowling Green. Complex of thunderstorms there is going to roll its way on toward the east. Watching another complex of storms in and around the Louisville metro. All of this stuff now in motion, moving west to east, and a lot of it is moving over the same areas that were hit earlier in the day. Some of these same areas have been hard hit over the past couple of weeks by flooding rains. What we have with the setup now is a front that is putting the brakes on across the Ohio Valley. Ripples of low pressure developing along this front, and that's going to keep the old rain train going into the overnight. This is your hour-by-hour future radar. Check out the timeline and notice how you keep those showers and storms going right on through daybreak tomorrow, and we will likely crank up additional rounds of thunderstorms coming in behind what you see through 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that will be the trend. And for that reason, our flash flood watch rolls on for not only tonight, but through tomorrow as well. We'll come back in just a few minutes, and we'll take a look back at some of the storms earlier through the eyes of some of our weather watchers and let you know if we can finally find a little break in all this stormy action.
That would certainly be nice, Chris. Thank you. Strong winds from a storm that moved through Lexington late this afternoon brought down trees all over the city.
For example, people in the Masterson Station neighborhood call it a mess. Trees there fell across streets and driveways, and that kept many people busy tonight. Garrett Weimer continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage.
A common sound and a common sight after strong storms rolled through Lexington's northwest end.
Really strong, sounded like rocks hitting the windows. Furniture went flying on the deck. Gutters came down, trees came down, really loud.
I saw trees moving and the grill started moving, and I checked out front and the tree was on the floor, and I heard really loud snapping, so I came over to check. There was trees laying on the ground.
Strong winds were responsible for bringing down several trees, just like this one, all around Masterson Station. Trees falling victim on Greenway Court, Buck Lane, and Lucille Drive, just to name a few.
A mess, really bad mess.
Leaving neighbors to pick up the pieces. Police also stayed busy, directing traffic at an intersection where stoplights were knocked out. After the winds died down, neighbors still had their hands full from a storm that sent them for shelter even while inside their homes.
Thankful to have that basement and feel safe.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, part of the good news tonight, no damage was reported to any homes in that area off Leestown Road. Kentucky Utilities reports about 300 customers on the north side of town lost power about 6 o'clock tonight.
Workers at a central Kentucky distillery also have a lot to clean up tonight. Strong winds from a storm damaged 2 warehouses at Heaven Hill Brands in Nelson County. One of those warehouses lost its entire roof. Tonight, Monique Blair talked to Heaven Hill workers about all the damage.
Around 3:30 Tuesday afternoon, a storm rolled through Nelson County.
It kind of came out of nowhere and within a matter of minutes, I was inside the building here, and the guards ran in and said that we actually lost a roof off a warehouse.
The storm completely ripped the roof off this warehouse and partially damaged another warehouse.
I mean, when you first roll upon it and you see your warehouse roof, basically folded up into multiple pieces laying, on the ground next to it, it's a little bit overwhelming.
Each of these two warehouses here that were damaged hold 19,000 barrels of what is mainly bourbon. And you can see up close here just how significant the damage was to this warehouse. But right now it's too early to tell if any of those barrels of bourbon were damaged.
These barrels are very sturdy. I mean, they weigh 500, 550 pounds. They're pretty resilient.
The distillery houses a total of 1.1 million barrels inside 51 different warehouses.
Our warehouses are pretty old. The two that were damaged tonight were both built in the 70s, so occasionally when you have bad weather roll through like this, sometimes things happen. Master
distiller Denny Potter says although the buildings are old, the damage the storm left behind Tuesday will be repaired quickly. In Nelson County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Heaven Hill says it is the largest family-owned and operated distiller spirit supplier in the country. Storm damage was also reported in Fleming County tonight. The Fleming County emergency manager says a shed was destroyed and trees knocked down along Highway 11 near Flemingsburg. He also says the roof of a barn was blown off on Convict Pike, which you can see in this picture. No injuries were reported. The emergency manager says the National Weather Service will survey damage tomorrow.
And with more heavy rain expected overnight and into the day tomorrow, emergency managers around the Bluegrass say they'll be keeping a close eye on creeks and streams. In Franklin County, crews are preparing for possible flash flooding. And the emergency management director says it's been an exhausting stretch of weather.
The February snow event to the cold in February, which was a pretty good cold snap. I think our coldest date was like -22. To the March snow event, to the April flooding event, it has been one eventful month after another.
And that kind of puts it in perspective. Some of you have been sending in your eyewitness pictures of storm damage tonight. Anthony took this picture of a broken tree limb in Danville. You can share your pictures and video with us. Email them to eyewitness@WKYT.com or use the hashtag KYWeather.
Tonight, we are tracking the investigation into a crash that killed a Central Kentucky mother. The crash happened late this morning on Long Lick Pike in Scott County. Investigators say 46-year-old Michelle Rojas lost control of her truck, ran off the road and hit a plank fence and a tree. The coroner says she died at the scene. Her two children were in the truck with her, but investigators say they were in car seats and not injured. Investigators think alcohol and speed were factors in that crash. New tonight, rescue crews in Louisville say they may have found the final missing person from a boating accident on the Ohio River. They say a towboat operator first spotted the body of a child tonight. Crews say 2 people were found dead and 3 people were missing after a pontoon boat overturned Saturday night. They say the bodies found of 2 of those missing people yesterday.
New tonight, the governor says he will not call a special session to handle issues stemming from the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that legalized same-sex marriage. House Speaker Greg Stumbo had asked for a special session after some county clerks stopped issuing marriage licenses in response to the ruling. But he did not say what he wanted the legislature to do. Only the governor can call lawmakers back into session, and tonight he said he would not do that. He said the courts will deal with any clerks who are not issuing marriage licenses. The governor said, quote, "It's time for everyone to take a deep breath. There's no need to spend $60,000 a day of taxpayers' dollars calling a special session of the General Assembly," end of quote. He said that any minor changes to clarify the language of statutes could wait until the regular legislative session, which comes in January.
Questions have been raised about some statues in downtown Lexington, and now Mayor Jim Gray wants a city board to take a closer look. The mayor's office says he's asked the Urban County Arts Review Board to review the placement and presentation of the John Hunt Morgan and John C. Breckinridge statues in Cheapside Park. Both men were Confederate officers. The mayor also wants the board to review a nearby historical marker that provides information about slavery in Lexington. He asked the board to talk to civil rights leaders, historians, and others in the community. Last month, the Morgan statue was vandalized.
What began as a routine call soon turned violent for police in one central Kentucky city. In 9 minutes, what we've learned about an officer-involved shooting.
And then police and the FBI raided the home of Subway spokesperson Jared Fogle today. How the restaurant chain is reacting.
Tonight, police are investigating what led to an officer-involved shooting at a Hardin County home.
Elizabethtown police say they were called to the home by a woman who was concerned about a man there. When they arrived, police say they tried to talk to the man, but they say he was holding a knife. Police say as they were approaching the man, they fired shots at him, but they're not saying why they fired. The man was taken to the hospital, but there's no word on his condition tonight.
Federal investigators are now looking into what led to a mid-air collision between a military fighter jet and a small private plane. The two collided earlier today just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. Investigators say the pilot of the F-16 ejected appears to be okay tonight, but they say the two people on board the small plane were killed. The Air Force says the F-16 pilot was on a training exercise at the time. Tonight, Subway announced it is suspending its relationship with spokesman Jared Fogle. It comes after police raided his Indiana home this morning. FBI agents and Indiana State Police say they removed electronics from the home. Investigators are not saying much about the raid, but 2 months ago, the then executive director of Fogle's foundation was arrested on child porn charges. At this point, Fogle has not been arrested or charged. His attorney says Fogle is cooperating with investigators.
An Eastern Kentucky jailer says one of his employees stopped an attempted escape that turned violent. The Bell County jailer says inmates Christopher Dixon and Kenneth Williams tried to escape last night. Investigators say when a corrections officer opened a cell door, the two inmates rushed forward, attacking the officer and another officer standing nearby. Both were pepper sprayed. The jailer says Dixon used a jail radio to contact employee Amy Webb in the control room and claimed he would kill one of the officers if she didn't let the inmates leave. Instead, Webb called police.
That was very important to withstand what she was seeing and still keep her composure.
Both inmates now face additional charges. The jailer says both injured officers will be off work for a few days but should be okay.
This is a strange one. It's a mystery that has people in an eastern Kentucky town buzzing tonight. High-heeled shoes keep showing up on utility poles around Middlesboro. Someone is climbing up the poles and nailing the shoes to them. And so far, no one has been able to figure out who's doing this.
There's a lot of jokes stirring up about the cable men or the electric men. Their rates have went up. It's a cheaper way for them to get up the pole, but I don't believe that.
Middlesboro police say they don't believe this is anything criminal. They think it's just someone trying to create art.
All right, how about this one? Some snakes became traffic cops recently in Anderson County. Police were dealing with a crash at Kentucky 44 and US 127 at the bypass when they noticed the traffic lights flickering on and off. Well, when they checked the box, they found several large rat snakes inside. According to downtown Lawrenceburg KY.com, officers used tobacco sticks to remove them. The snakes returned a couple of days later, so officers used pepper spray to encourage them not to come back. It's their home, I guess, so they're here to stay.
Two odd stories right there.
There you go. Okay.